Thank you. Over to Mr. Hari Venkatesh.
Thank you so much, ma'am. That was truly a session with a lot of knowledge and a lot of inputs. I'm sure this provided many of us here with a good insight on legal documentation, but I'm also sure that a few people have many queries and doubts with respect to the said subject. We now will move to the question and answer session. And before that, I once again ask the audience to type in your questions in the question and answers column, which is provided in the control panel. And that will be presented to ma'am, and we shall have the answers to those questions. I request Mr. G. Hari Venkatesh to moderate the question and answer session. Over to you, Appa.
Thank you, Preetham. Madam, I can see, a lot of questions, probably I can see around the numbers around 17 questions are there for us. So I will take the questions one by one. The first question what we have is from Mr. Jitendra Mehta. And the question is, after preparation of a will and appointment of an executor, what happens to the will when the testator and executor both die and will never come to light? How to solve this issue?
There is every possibility. After taking care of all the issues also, I told you, dispute may arise. This is also something similar. In case if you have an apprehension of that kind, it is better if you inform some person in the family or some outsider. And there is also witnesses who are involved in the will. So in case if the testator and an executor expire, the witnesses can inform the family about the existence of the will. So I don't think all of them will expire and the will may not come to the light of the beneficiaries.
Okay, we'll move on to the next question, ma'am. The next question is from Mr. Anirudh. We know that a transfer of property can be made to an unborn person by creating a trust. Will also be made in favor of an unborn person? If so, is it done by creating a trust?
So there is difference between a trust and a will, sir. In case of a trust, it is created with for certain purpose. In case if there is some, if it is for some social purpose, then the purpose of the will is different. Whether if it is given to an unborn person or not, the person for which it is created will continue to happen. But in case of a will, it cannot happen. You cannot bequeath some right to a person who is still not born. It cannot happen like that, sir.
Understood, madam.
Sir, since the will is a very informal document where there is no format or anything, you're free to put into writing about your desires and intentions. Nobody can stop you. But and in case if the legal heirs or the beneficiaries places importance to your desires, then according to your desire, an unborn person also may be given a share in the property. It is all the way it gets executed in the future, sir.
Wonderful.
Got my point, sir?
Yes, ma'am. Yeah. So we'll move on to the next question. This question is from Mr. Hari Kadiresan. If sale deed is registered by GPA holder before demise of owner using GPA and sale agreement, this means the sale is legal, right? Is it mandatory for current owner to have the original GPA and sale agreement even if the property has been transferred to 3 registered owners after first registration? Here GPA is not registered.
Sir, please come again, sir.
Okay, let me repeat the question. If sale deed is registered by GPA holder before demise of owner using GPA and sale agreement, this means the sale is legal, right? Is it mandatory for current owner to have the original GPA and sale agreement even if the property has been transferred to 3 registered owners after first registration? Here GPA is not registered.
Sir, first of all, you cannot transfer the property on the basis of an unregistered GPA. It is compulsory when the transfer of property has to happen. This registration of the GPA is compulsory. And regarding the second part of the question, whether holding the original GPA is required. Once the person is selling the property to another person who would have purchased it on the basis of GPA, may not require that document after the sale of that property. What will he do with the GPA when he has already sold the property? So he will be delivering the original copy of the GPA also to the subsequent purchaser. So naturally, the documents relating to the property will be handed over to the subsequent purchaser.
Understood. Madam, we'll move on to the next question.
Please.
This question is from Mr. Manoharan CM. Is will applicable only for assets or even for liabilities? Is will applicable only for assets or even for liabilities?
Well, this is a nice question. Yes, you can even make a mention of all your liabilities and you need not even have to mention assets at all. It is a will. You can write it the way you want. Nobody can question you. Only thing is the legal heirs should accept what you have written. When it is liabilities, they may not even acknowledge the existence of the will. They will only be interested in the assets.
Thank you, madam. Now, we'll move on to the next question. This question is from Mr. Raghu. His will is overriding earlier nomination. His will overriding earlier nomination.
Sir, how is the nomination? I would want to know what kind of nomination, sir.
General nomination, say in case of an, let us talk about, insurance, the nomination in the insurance policy.
Okay, got it. Sir, normally the will have the finality because it is the intention of the person who is writing the will about his desires as to what should happen to his properties after his demise. So even if he has mentioned some nominee, still I would like to here explain to you there is a difference between a legal heir and a nominee. All legal heirs are nominees, but all nominees are not legal heirs. Nominee is a person who is just a caretaker of the document or a property. He may not have a legal right in the property. He is like an executor whose duty is to inform the legal heirs about the existence of that particular property. And my advice is, it is always better to mention all these items, whether it is a FD or an insurance or all these documents, that is this kind of wealth in your will under movable properties. It is always better to have a clarity about the properties that you have. Will need not have to have only immovable properties. You can make a mention of all the movable properties also, which are the fixed deposits or any accounts that bank accounts that you may be having, or any insurance or any mutual bonds, shares. Everything can be mentioned in the will. In fact, when you make a will, it is always better that you cover all these things, so that there will not be any ambiguity in the future.
Got it, madam. We'll move on to the next question. This question is from Madam Nirupama. What happens if testator changes her mind after registering the will?
There is no problem. In case if the testator changes his mind, then he can execute a fresh will and he can make a mention about this old will in the fresh document. That is the fresh will that he is executing. And any day it is the last document that will have the legal binding.
Okay.
So it is better to mention the previous document and say that it ceases to have any effect in the future, in case if there is any dispute that may arise in the future. Otherwise, it is always the last document that will have the legal effect.
Okay. We'll move on to the next question, madam. This question is from Madam Jalaja. The question says, is it necessary to make a will in the case of the only child, that is single child? Is it necessary to make a will in case of a single child is the question.
Actually, it is not necessary in case if you want all your wealth to go to your only one and only child. But in case if there are certain, we were speaking about the fixed deposits, bank accounts or something of that kind. You may have created some mutual bonds, or you may have purchased the shares, and which your only child may not be aware of. So it is always better to put it in writing. What are the things that you may like your only child to inherit? It is all right if you make a will in favor of your one and only child, only to avoid any ambiguities in future.
Okay, and we'll move on to the next question. This question is from Mr. Anirudh. Is release deed used after partition as well? Is release deed used after partition as well?
No, sir, you cannot execute a release deed after a partition, because partition happens between family members. It is a joint family property which is partitioned between all the siblings. So it is not possible to execute a release deed among family members. You can execute a relinquishment deed in case if you desire to release your share in the property to your to any other co-owner.
Okay. We have one more question from Mr. Anirudh. Is vicarious liability applicable in case of GPA? Is vicarious liability applicable in case of GPA?
Vicarious liability with respect to what, sir?
The question reads as in case of GPA.
No, I'm asking you in case
Vicarious liability. Okay.
Vicarious.
I think Mr. Anirudh has to repost the question with the clarification.
Because the GPA is a very general, like you may be entrusting a person to perform any job on your behalf. So vicarious liability with respect to what transaction?
Okay. So let us wait for Mr. Anirudh to repost the question, and we'll move on to the next question, madam. And this question is from Madam Jayalakshmi Radhakrishnan. The question is, there are issues with title being sold, and after a few years, the children will make a claim and will enter into the legal battle. How this can be solved, especially in case of SC/ST granted properties?
Oh, it is a very sensitive topic, because it is just like what I made a mention. It is very important to have the title of the property examined before the purchase of property. And when the property belongs to SC/ST, it is even more sensitive issue, because there are hundreds of properties in Bangalore which have, after the purchase, the sale has been declared as null and void, and the properties have been have bounced back to the seller. So extra precautions have to be taken at the time of purchase. And even in case if you have purchased a property and later you have realized it is an SC/ST land, then you will have to approach the court by stating that you are an innocent purchaser and you have been fooled or you have been defrauded into such a transaction. And if you are lucky and if you are able to convince, there is a possibility that your sale deed may be still held valid, but it is very, very because 90% of the cases, the sale deeds have been held as null and void when the SC/ST lands are involved.
Understood. Madam, we'll move on to the next question. This question is from Mr. Venkatachalam Sundar Rajan. When you register the will, is there any obligation to get NOC from the court whenever a property is sold to confirm that the property was properly transferred? I'll repeat the question.
Yes.
When you register the will, is there any obligation to get NOC from the court whenever a property is sold to confirm that the property was properly transferred?
You mean in case after preparing a will, if you decide to sell the property, that is what I think you're trying to ask me. You may have mentioned the property in a will. Later on, you decide to sell the property. No, there is no need for any NOC. You can proceed. It is your property. You can proceed to sell the property. There is no need for getting NOC from anywhere.
Okay, fine, madam. So we'll move to next question. This question is from Mr. Hari Krishna. Is grandchildren have as right for ancestors' property, where both mother and grandparents passed away? Now ownership is in their uncle's name, but grandparents has not created will.
No, here there are two types of properties. One is self-acquired property and one is ancestral property. In case of self-acquired property, it is the property that I purchase out of my earnings. So I have the absolute right over the property. In case if I have earned a property, that is, if it is an ancestral property, then all the legal heirs will have an equal right, title, interest over the property. The right that I have inherited, my sibling or any other legal heir to that particular property cannot take it away. And please remember, a person will inherit a right in the property even before its birth. From the time it is in the mother's womb, the person will have a right in the grandfather's property, that is ancestral property. Nobody can take it away. The ancestral property will always be divided among all the legal heirs equally.
Wonderful, got it. So we'll move on to the next question. The next question is from Mr. Sadashiv Nayak. A and B decided to purchase the property jointly. But before the registration, they have entered into agreement in the name of A party and later registered in the name of B. In this case, whether A has hold on this joint property.
Sir, actually there is a clause in the sale agreement that the sale deed can be executed in favor of any person that I desire. So it is not necessary person who is mentioned in the sale agreement only will have to purchase the sale deed, will have to be a party to the sale deed. It is not necessary. A person whom who is a party in the sale agreement as a purchaser can get the property registered in favor of any person of his choice.
Okay. So we'll move on to the next question, madam. The next question is from Madam Nirupama again. Do you suggest making individual wills or joint wills?
No, please don't make individual wills. Make a joint will, because individual wills can give rise to ambiguity, and because in case if a person individual will where you are bequeathing a property in favor of A and another property in favor of B, and the property that you have bequeathed in favor of A is more valuable, then surely a person who the person B who would have received another property in another will may raise a dispute saying that the document where you would have bequeathed A property is not a genuine document. It will give rise to litigations. Please avoid making individual wills and stick to a joint will where you put in all your desires in one single document.
Got it. So joint will is recommended.
Yes, sir.
Okay, we'll move on to the next question, madam. This question is from Mr. Hari Kadiresan again. In case of unregistered will, is will still valid if overwritten?
Overwritten. Oh.
In case of unregistered will, is will still valid if overwritten?
Sir, actually registration of will is not compulsory, but still we advise the person to get the property, the will registered is in order to avoid overwriting and manipulations of the document. Material alteration will always give rise to disputes.
Disputes.
Yes, sir. So in order to avoid that, only registration of the will is suggested. Otherwise, registration is not compulsory.
So if it is overwritten, it can be challenged.
Of course, it may give rise to disputes.
Understood. Yeah, disputes. Okay, we'll move on to the next question. This is from Mr. Mallika S. Aradhya. Madam, if testator writes all his property to charity without the knowledge of family members, after the demise of testator, does the will stand good or does it fall to any ambiguity?
No, it is the wish of the testator. That is the reason why he will execute a will. In case if he wants all his legal heirs to enjoy the property, then he may not even execute a will. He may not even prepare a will, because according to the law of succession, all the properties will automatically be inherited by his legal heirs. In case if there is some particular purpose that he wants to suggest in a will, or in case if he wishes to bequeath the property in favor of somebody altogether, not a family member, or like you told, a trust, it is his wish, it is his property. He can do it the way he wishes. There is no bar to that. And nobody can question the intentions of the testator.
Okay. Madam, we'll move on to the next question. This question is from Mr. Venukumar. Will not be registered just on white paper with the legal heir. Will write the will to his nominee whether this document is valid. Which means he is asking whether will written on white paper is valid.
Yes, sir.
Yes, it is valid. Okay.
Yes.
So we'll move on to Mr. Jitendra Mehta. I think he has asked the same question what I asked you, madam. After the death of the person, their kins sell away the property to a third party and the will presence is known. What happens then?
Yeah, you want me to explain once again?
I think, yeah, just in short, since he has asked the question now.
Sir, since lifetime interest is given to a person in a will, so nobody will have a right to sell the property. Since on the day of sale, this will was not realized, the existence of the will was not realized and the sale has happened, the person who is purchasing the property is an innocent buyer. So he can approach the court asking for return of the entire sale consideration amount along with interest, because it is not possible for him to make good the title, because the legal heirs themselves will not have a good title, because the lady will be having a lifetime interest in the property. So the legal heirs will not have a right to sell the property. So that is the reason he will have the liberty to approach the court.
Okay. Madam, we'll move on to the next question. This question is from Mr. Venkata Chalam Sundar Rajan again. Whether donor can give the gift which belongs to his ancestors?
No.
Not possible.
No, because it is ancestral property. Sir, let me explain to you. In case if the property, if an ancestral property, after inheriting that, if there has been a partition of the property between all the legal heirs, then the share that he has inherited, he can sell it. But he cannot sell the share of his other person, other legal heir who is also a co-owner to the property. He can only sell the property or gift a property that is to the extent of his share in the property.
Okay. Madam, the next question is from Mr. Srinivasa Karthikeyan. What are the tax implications involved for the receiver of gift or will?
Sir, this tax, the tax thing, I am not completely.
But tax implications will apply, right?
Yeah, it will apply.
It will apply.
Exactly, it will apply.
Understood. So, next question is from Sunil Shubhas Gokarna. I am a widower with no children. If will is not made, who can claim my property? Who are the legal heirs?
According to the law of succession, there is class 1 legal heirs, class 2 legal heirs, class 3 legal heirs. There is a definition for class 1, class 2, class 3. So in case if there are no children or husband, and still if there is a property and if the person dies without a will, then the law of succession takes into effect. So the class 1 legal heirs, it can be mother, father. No, mother, father is not a class 1 legal heir. Mother, brothers, it comes like that. There is a definition for that. It is an elaborate study by itself, this law of succession under Hindu law.
Okay.
So it cannot be mentioned in one single sentence, but law of succession will come into effect in case if there is no will.
Okay. Madam, the next question is from Mr. Venkatachalam Sundararajan. Also, whether one can write the will about the property which belongs to his ancestors as ancestor property should go to the next generation.
Sir, he can only write a will to the extent of his share in the ancestral property. He cannot write a will with respect to the share belonging to others. He has no right over that. He can only write a will with respect to his share in the ancestral property.
Okay. And the next question is from Mr. Ramaraju. Can a testator write a will mentioning beneficiary to write a will as per the wishes of first testator? Should I repeat the question, madam?
Please, sir.
Can a testator write a will mentioning beneficiary to write a will as per the wishes of the first testator?
No, it is not possible. He can, the testator will have a right to give lifetime interest to some person, but he cannot dictate more than that. After the lifetime of that particular person, automatically that property will go to all other legal heirs equally. He cannot tell the legal heir indefinitely not to sell the property. Always the transfer of title at one point should be complete. It cannot continue like that. And the person who has not got the title, how can he write a will with respect to that property? Got my point, sir.
Understood.
When a property is given to somebody, it should be absolute. The conditional, if you start making conditions, then the transfer of title is not complete. So he will not have a right to again make a decision on that property.
Understood. This question is from Anirudh. I think he has reposted the question again. Madam, how to avoid adverse possession claim in case I rent my house to someone for more than 12 years?
Sir, adverse possession is a topic by itself. It requires detailed description of what is adverse possession. It cannot be told in short. It requires an explanation in detail. And it is not possible when you rent out a property to somebody, the tenant cannot claim adverse possession because a lot of factors are involved. There is a rental agreement that you would have been executed and you would be collecting rents every month. And apart from that, you would be paying property tax to the corporation as and when it is accrued. So it is not that simple that a person can claim some property as adverse. It is a very comprehensive topic by itself, sir. Adverse possession.
Okay. Madam, we'll move on to the next question. This question is from Mr. Ravi. So he is referring my question, that is in Ari's example, the example with the question which I asked you. As a buyer, how to verify the existence of will at the time of sale? Even the seller's family may not know or hide the will.
Sir, when you are purchasing the will, in purchasing the property, in case if the will is registered, it will reflect in the encumbrance certificate, sir. Because the document is registered with respect to that property, so it will reflect in the encumbrance certificate in case if it is with respect to that particular property.
That is if the will is registered.
Yes, if the will is registered.
That will get reflected in the EC of the encumbrance certificate of the property.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, understood. So that presses the importance of the will to be registered.
There is one more problem here. In case if there are more than one property, a will be registered in a place where exactly one property is situated.
Mhm.
So in case if you are purchasing some other property, it is not necessary that it may have to reflect in the encumbrance certificate. And it is this ambiguity will always be there in case of a will, sir. What in case if the executor dies before the testator? What in case after in the future if the legal heirs are not informed about the existence of the will? Normally speaking, when the will is prepared, it is mentioned in the family that there is a will and it is registered. It is very rare that such a thing arises. And you would have taken all the precautions that you would have appointed an executor, you would have had witnesses, and in case if you are taking professional help, even your advocate will be aware of the existence of the will. So several persons are involved when a will is executed. So many times, and in case of a dispute arising in a will, even an advocate is summoned by the court to give evidence. So it is like, in order to avoid all these things, a proper will is constructed.
Okay. Madam, we'll move on to the next question from Mr. Andhra Prakash. Can you tell me how about giving gift of joint property to kin and kith?
Sir, again, only the property that you have the absolute right and title, you can gift it. In case if the property is a joint property, only to the extent of your share you can gift. You cannot gift a complete joint property, joint family property. Only with respect to your share in the joint family, you can gift.
Okay. Madam, this question is, we have one more question from Mr. Manoharan CM. Which will prevail on an LIC policy? That is an assignment to the financier or as per will? What will prevail in an LIC policy? An assignment to the financier or as per will?
You mean in case if your LIC policy is mortgaged someplace?
Is assigned.
Okay, assign is like in case if it's like a pledge, right?
Pledge, you're right.
Okay.
We are assigning the rights to the to somebody else.
Yes, sir. Sir, it is the financer who will have the right over the LIC policy, because it has been pledged in return for taking some loan or financial help from that particular institution. It is pledged as a security towards the repayment of the loan. In case if the person dies, then the financer is the person who will have right over the LIC policy. The reason for pledging is in case if there is any default in payment of the loan, then the LIC policy can be made use by the financer to recover the amount that is due. So it is the financer any day will have the right over it.
Got it. Yes, madam. And we will move on to the question from Mr. Hari Krishna. This is in continuation to the earlier question Mr. Hari Krishna has raised. His grandchildren has right for ancestors' property where both mother and grandparents passed away. Now ownership is in their uncle name, but grandparents has not created will. Now adding to that question, the current question what he wants to clarify is, if property already sold or kept in mortgage in any of the bank, how to claim for possession of property?
Sir, once the loan is repaid, the financial institution will not be interested in your document, in your property. It will automatically release whatever property that has been pledged or mortgaged before it. So the repayment of the loan is what is required. If the legal heirs are in a position to repay the loan that the testator may have raised, then the bank will release the property. It has no interest in the property otherwise.
Got it.
Sir, you were asking me about one more question that is with respect to. There was one more attached question.
Yeah,
sir.
let me just go back to the question. The question says, if property if property already sold or kept in mortgage in any of the bank, how to claim for possession of property?
Yeah, I think I explained this question.
Yes, yes. So we will move on to the next question, madam. And the next question is, this is from Mr. Pradeep. Does the GPA has limited time only? Is there
Yeah,
any time limit for GPA?
sir, GPA is executed for performance of one particular task on behalf of an attorney. As soon as the task is completed, the GPA ceases to have effect.
Okay. Madam, this question is from Mr. Jayalakshmi Radhakrishnan. The will is prepared for the children, and after the demise of the person, what is the procedure to follow to transfer the title in children's name?
On the death of the testator, normally whatever is mentioned in the will come into force. The beneficiaries of the will can get their property transferred to their name on the basis of the will that is left behind.
Okay. Madam, this question is from Mr. Pradeep again. Can we have one GPA for all purpose? Like instead of having different GPA to sell property or for other purpose? Can we have one GPA for all purpose? Instead of having different GPA to sell property or for other purpose? A common GPA. Can we have a common GPA which is selling of property and giving other rights, everything together? I think we lost, there is some connectivity problem. Just give us a second. Friends, just give us a second. Our team is just checking on the issue. Yeah. So, madam is back. Sorry for the disconnect.
Sir, I was
And,
not able to follow that question.
Okay, let me just again ask you that question, madam. Can we have one GPA for all purpose instead of having different GPA to sell property or for other purpose?
Yes, sir. You can execute a general power of attorney where you can entrust more than one job to be performed. In case
Fine.
if you want only one particular task to be performed, then it is specific power of attorney. When you are entrusting more than one task to be performed, then it is general power of attorney.
So all tasks can be put in one document and a common one single document can be made.
Yes, yes,
Okay.
sir.
Fine, madam, that answers the question. And we'll go to Mr. Sashidhar. Usually vehicles are ignored in the mention in the will, but spouse of the deceased may not want to get the possession of this vehicle, but wants the ownership in the name of a child. How to tackle this issue?
Sir, normally whatever is mentioned in the will, that is have to be followed. In case if there is anything else that has to happen, in case like all the beneficiaries mutually can come to an understanding and alter such.
But Mr. Sashidhar says the vehicles are ignored in the mention in the will. It is not included in the will. The vehicles are ignored.
No,
And
sir,
the
it
wife
is not
wants the possession of this vehicle to be given, the ownership to be given to the child.
given to the child. Which child, sir? Whether the child is a minor or a major?
Let us take the case to be a major.
Major. In case if he is a legal heir, and if the vehicle is not mentioned in the will, then the law of succession towards that vehicle will come into effect. Sir, got my
Okay.
point. What is
Yes.
not mentioned in the will, the law of succession will take its course. Only the properties that are mentioned in the will be divided as per the desire of the testator. What is not mentioned in the will be divided according to the law of succession.
Okay. Fine, madam. We'll move on to the next question. This question is from Mr. Hari Krishna. What is family tree? How to create this? What are the procedures, steps to follow to claim ancestors' property?
Sir, family tree is a document which will consist of the existence of all the family members, and it will even make a mention whether that particular family member is alive or dead. And in case if that person is alive, what is his age? It is the complete, it is 3 generations. That is my great-grandfather, grandfather, and my father. These 3 people will be covered in a family tree.
Okay.
And for preparation of a family tree, one will have to approach a Tahsildar for preparation of that is DC, Deputy Commissioner, or a Tahsildar for preparation of the family tree. And of course, when there is a dispute in any of the properties, then it becomes mandatory for us to furnish a family tree before the court to say that this property belonged to my grandfather or great grandfather, and I have a right in this property.
Okay. Madam, we'll move on to the next question. Mr. Srinivas, is ancestral property whether siblings brother can avoid giving assets to sibling sister who is co-personer?
Co-owner.
Yeah.
Sir, the law of succession gives right to all the siblings, whether it is all the sons and daughters have equal right in the property. For some reason, if the brothers want to enjoy the property and not give a share to the sisters, they can mutually have an understanding with the sisters and get a relinquishment deed done towards the share that the sisters possess in that property. They can get the property released from the sisters by executing the relinquishment deed. In case if the brothers will not get such a deed executed and still want to enjoy the property, tomorrow in case when they have to sell the property, it is not possible, and the sisters will have a right over that ancestral property and nobody can take it away.
Okay. Madam, we'll move on to the next question. This question is from Mr. Srinivasa Karthikeyan. Is there a possibility of one legal heir to raise claim or litigation if the will is written in the name of another legal heir?
Yes, sir, there is every possibility, and it is the right and liberty of a person to raise a dispute, sir, in India.
Yeah.
So, even if I take all the precautions in preparation of the will, I cannot rule out any of them disputing the genuineness of the will. Yes, he can raise a dispute.
Okay. Madam, we'll move on to the question. Next question from Mr. K.R. Sridhara. The law and rules about the will is applicable only in Hindu law or applicable to other religious laws?
Sir, here the will is like any other document, sir. In case if it is a GPA or a sale deed or anything, a person, irrespective of to which caste he belongs, he resorts to the same procedures in case if he wants to purchase the property. It is the sale deed that happens in case if he wants to purchase the property. In case if he want to authorize a person to act on his behalf, it is a GPA that he will do. So in case of a will, it is not necessary that he will have to follow any religious procedure. Only in case if he is a Muslim and if he wants to gift a property to some person, it is their personal law comes into effect, sir, where it is called as hiba in their language. So
Okay.
there is little deviation when it is a gift.
Okay. So we'll move on to the next question. This question is from Mr. Hari Kadiresan. General question. Lawsuits, especially civil, are getting filed almost every hour. Is there any governance to close the suits within stipulated time? As I hear, people die running behind courts.
Sir, in case if there was something called stipulated time, maybe our courts would not have been so crowded. Still, the judiciary is taking all the measures that are required to end the litigations as early as possible. In the past, the person used to give evidence by entering the box physically and adduce everything that he wanted to tell. That procedure has been reduced, and now all he has to do is just file an affidavit. Because of that, the considerable time in a litigation is reduced, and comparatively our forefathers' time, the litigations used to run for generations. Now it is not happening. They are concluding very early.
Okay.
And
Okay.
the court has come up with the new ideas like mediation, arbitration, and all that. So
Out of court settlements.
yeah, via media settlements are happening, and it is all happening very nicely, sir.
Okay, wonderful, ma'am. So the next question is from Mr. Ranjan Badarmal. Will may have more than one assets? How it will transfer to respective member? Hence, original will have one copy, other transfer with Xerox copy.
Yes, sir. Several, you can include all your properties one will, and you can describe it clearly as to which property should go to which person, and there will be only one will, and the original will always be with the sub-registrar. You can only take the certified copy of the will and make use of it. Only on probate, you will be able to get the original document of the will from the sub-registrar. Otherwise, the original will always stay with the sub-registrar.
Okay. Madam, this question is from Mr. Hari Krishna again. There was judgment by Court of the Special Deputy Commissioner for abolition of INAMS, Bangalore, August 1974. Judgment was in favor of testator. Can grandchildren can claim this for this property, but ownership is in different names in government documents. Is it possible to claim property, and what will be the steps to follow?
No, sir. This because each judgment would have been done with a complete. You cannot compare two cases on the same platform. Each case will have its own facts and circumstances under which the court would have passed an order. And this question, what he is asking, is very complex, and it is related to some judgment. We do not know what wisdom the court has passed that such a judgment. It is necessary for me to go through the judgment and only reply to it.
Understood. Probably we'll share Madam's contact details at the end of the session. You can kindly make a note, and wherever the advice is necessary, you can definitely feel free to reach to Madam, please. And this is the last question, Madam, from Madam Soumya. What if the testator mental state is questionable while writing the will, and this dispute is raised by legal hire after death of the testator?
Yes, sir. This is sort of valid question, because that is the main course that a person who is disputing the will, that is the main, what is that, what is that? He will take that as the main reason for disputing the will, sir. Anywhere when a will is disputed, that is the reason the person disputing will say that, the person who has executed the will, the testator was not of a sound mind. He was not in a position to execute the will. And it is always in 90% of the cases where the will is disputed. This is the reason that the disputer will always come up with. So it is again, the beneficiary can approach the court to prove his point that the testator was in a sound mind.
Understood. Okay. So I think on screen we have Madam's contact detail. So members can kindly make a note of the contact details of Madam, and if there is any legal assistance needed, you may please feel free to approach Madam. So I think the screen is visible. Yes. Okay. And Madam, thank you so much. It was quite a long question and answer session, and most of our attendees, participants got their questions clarified. And this session went up to 1 hour, only the question and answer session. Thank you so much for your patience and answering in detail every questions posted by our participants. Thank you so much. And over to Mr. Preetham.
Wonderful. So this session was very tight. A lot of questions, a lot of interesting questions over and over which flowed. And I really thank ma'am for patiently answering all these questions. Thank you so much, ma'am. And thank you, Appa, for moderating the session really well. We now come towards the closure of this webinar. And I request Ms. Nagashravani to propose the vote of thanks. Over to you, Shravani.
Thank you, Preetham. Good evening to one and all present on this virtual platform. I'm very thankful for being part of this delightful and insightful evening. It's my pleasure to conclude this meeting with a vote of thanks. I, on behalf of everyone, would like to thank the Almighty for making our webinar a huge success. And I thank Mr. Gaurav for the wonderful invocation rendered. This type of incident would have not happened overnight. This wheel started moving about a week ago. It requires a lot of planning and a bird's eye active to mold this meeting. I would love to thank Team A1 Insurance and Financial Services, who have been working day and night to make this meeting a grand success. My special thanks and salute to our guest speaker of the day, Srimati Advocate A.L. Prashanti, who gave her vital time from her busy schedule to grace this meeting with her enriched speech. Thank you, madam. I would love to thank Mr. Hari Venkatesh, as he gave it an opportunity for everyone to know on the importance of legal will, and without him, this meeting would not have been possible. Thank you, sir, for this great opportunity. I also thank the master of this ceremony, Mr. G.H. Preetham, for having hosted this event. Thank you, Preetham. I am also thankful to this technology. Amidst the pandemic, we are lucky enough to come together through the virtual platform, have a knowledgeable speech by our speaker. Last but not the least, thank you all for sparing your valuable time and making up through this meeting. Stay safe and stay healthy. Thank you, and thank you all.
Thank you so much, Shravani. I would like to hand over the session to Mr. G. Hari Venkatesh for announcements, if there are any.
So, thank you, Preetham, and thank you again. My sincere thanks to all participants and our speaker. Thank you, madam. And friends, here comes the announcement. Our next webinar is on mutual funds. How to become crorepati with regular SIP in mutual funds. So, lot of insights on mutual funds and on SIP will be shared in our next session. And next session is scheduled in next 2 weeks time. So we will stay tuned. We will come back to you with the exact dates and the speaker and much more information shortly. So thank you once again for your participation and staying with us so long in this virtual meeting. Thank you all. With this, we come to the end of the meeting and back to Preetham.
Yes, that marks the end of our 2-hour long and informative webinar. I thank all of you for having joined us here and hope these 2 hours were fruitful to you in some way or the other. Wishing you all good health and a pleasant Sunday tomorrow. We take leave till the next webinar. Thank you so much. Good night.
Thank you.